Okay, this new moon is a vortex. It's a vortex portal, so to speak, back into the past. Hear me out. This new moon in Leo is happening at 2 degrees and 8 minutes, I believe. I haven't even looked at the chart, but I would say that I can just intuitively channel the energy of this new moon. I have personally been going through the main aspect of this new moon for the past 3 years with Pluto in opposition to the sun in Leo. And of course, this is with the moon. And if my memory serves me correctly, Saturn and Neptune are in the early degrees, the first 2 degrees of Aries. That makes this new moon in trine to Neptune and Saturn. We also have Mars conjunct the South Node in Virgo, which is making a square to Venus. And I believe this new moon is also in sextile to Uranus. So this new moon has a transformative merging of energy, and it's transforming the moon and the sun, which are coming together for a conjunction in the sign of Leo. Leo is the divine child. So Pluto in opposition, this is an oppositional energy, is transforming the inner child, our inner divine child. This is going to bring up a lot of things and themes from the past and from our childhood. This also does include relationship things, but we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Your inner rebel, your inner shadow that you have rejected, displaced, or don't want to look at, some part of you that you have rejected or that society has rejected, so therefore you rejected, is asking you to integrate that into your identity, something that was deeply part of who you are, possibly as a child or a soul, and it's asking you to bring that up into the surface. So this can be quite painful. It's supposed to be transformational, but it's asking you to integrate that back into who you truly are at a soul core level. Leo is the sun, the luminary. The sun gives light and life to everything on our planet. This is a very polarizing energy, but it's a necessary energy for a shift in our core identity. It's a shift in our emotions, and you can almost look at it as almost like reparenting our inner child, okay? Especially with the trine to Saturn and Aries. Saturn is retrograde now, will retrograde back into Pisces, but it's currently still retrograde in Aries. But to me, this is like the divine child. The divine child knows how to parent itself. We're not talking about just 3D mundane parenting or like control or like, those types of dynamics. This is from a purely energetic and spiritual level. The divine child within you knows what it needs to restructure and reparent itself. And then Neptune spiritualizes everything, which is also in trine to this new moon. So there's this intuitive knowing and feeling of the actions that we must take in order to find the stability and the structure that our inner child has been longing for. And this is a spiritual call. It's a spiritual call to be the spiritual warrior, to endure the transformative energy of this new moon, of Plutonian energy in Aquarius, and ultimately integrating that into the core of who we are. The saying, know thyself, really is for some reason coming up intuitively. I'm channeling this energy, but know thyself. There is nothing but yourself. From a theoretical point of view, it's God or the divine is not an entity up in the sky that we're worshiping, right? This is all coming from the inside. It's a part of who we are. We are God, essentially. It's a very Leo thing to say, but I digress. It is my solar return on the day of this new moon, so happy birthday to me. But I do know a lot about this energy. Saturn retrograde is really trying to go back over things that we may have carelessly done, or actions that we may have carelessly taken, impulsive decisions that we have made, or impulsive action. And he's kind of trying to put the broken pieces of the mirror back together. I don't know why the word mirror keeps coming up as well. That could have to do with Gemini energy. We do have Uranus and Gemini now as well. Which is in sextile to this new moon. But Saturn is really kind of trying to redo and restructure ego-driven actions that we may have taken. But if you really feel into this new moon energy, this is like, I don't know, it's coming through as a portal or a vortex energy. And I'm not even one to really use those terms because I try to stay as realistic as possible. But of course, I am a spiritualist. I believe in energy. I believe in portals and vortexes, or however you want to word it. But it's a very distinct energy, and it's going to change the way we think, we feel, and who we essentially are. But maybe not necessarily changing who we essentially are, but more so integrating some part of ourself that we have rejected, the opposition. And I talk about this a lot. I'm currently in the process of writing my ebook on spirituality, shadow work, and astrology. So shadow work and astrology go hand in hand, but the opposition in astrology is a huge dynamic of the shadow. Even more so with this new moon because it's the opposition to Pluto. It's like our most painful inner child wounds are the portal themselves to our truest, highest, happiest self. There's also this energy of like radicalizing our thoughts and our communication, the mind. Also, remember, Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Leo, so that's very significant. But we also have Uranus in Gemini, which is sextile to this new moon. So there's this, radicalization, if that's a word, of all of this. And this is in the mind. Something about siblings is coming through. Of course, that corresponds to Gemini or the third house. So themes of that nature, how we're communicating, how we're expressing, how we're learning, how we're taking in information and giving out information, those themes could be prevalent as well. But keep in mind that triggers are good. Now, new moons are typically, they're new beginnings, they're fresh starts. So like, I don't want you guys to get the idea that this is a bad energy, but it's a very transformative energy that's setting us on a new path. And that's why I keep saying it's like a portal or a vortex, because if you harness this energy, of course, leading up to the new moon is the dark moon. And the dark moon can be quite difficult. So you have to release something in order for a new seed to be planted. So we have to utilize this Plutonian opposition in order to endure the triggers and the transformations that our inner child is longing for. Also, with Mars on the South Node and square to Venus, this can be a lot of triggers in love dynamics. So it's like you either need to transform some sort of dynamic that's not working, or you got to let it go. There's going to be a lot of hostile energy, a lot of aggressive energy, a lot of Martian energy, especially on the South Node. I don't like that transit at all. Mars on the South Node is it's very hostile. In Virgo, it's like, I don't know, it's like the littlest things can set off the biggest reaction. So we definitely need to be careful with that. But all of these things are very connected. I'm seeing like a spiral, or like a spiral, I guess. I was going to say circle, but a spiral. So triggers in love dynamics all stem back to something in a core wound within yourself. Everything is a projection, opposition, right? That's why the opposition is so important in shadow work astrology. But there's some sort of projection happening that your inner child is calling you to recognize, to integrate, and to alchemize. But ultimately, I'm super excited for this new moon. It feels like a huge new beginning, a huge portal, and a huge vortex. So utilize it if it's a little bit uncomfortable for you, or, you're being asked to look at things that you didn't think were still relevant to you. That's okay. That's what's supposed to happen, but it's a beautiful energy. It's Leo season, best season of the year. I'm a little biased, but happy new moon in Leo. Happy Leo season, my loves. Personal readings in the you know where. But much love, y'all, and stay groovy.